The following podcast is part of the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. For advertising information or to find more great podcasts, visit us at www.theunderdogsports.com and follow us on Twitter at RealTheUnderdog.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Atlantic Files, the number one podcast on the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. Joining you are your hosts, myself, Alex Fishbein. We got Dennis Clausen. We got Mike Bash. What's going on, guys?
What's going on? It's good to be back. Even though
Yes,
Dennis
sir.
just keeps wanting to do hand signals.
That's a
I'm
specialty.
hungry.
Dennis loves nonverbal communication. It's the easiest
There
thing
it
for
is. But anyway, so we
There's
have
so
a lot
many
to...
cutbacks in my head that I have for that.
Oh God, I have a feeling they're gonna come out throughout the episode. But anyway, so we have a lot going on. There's a lot going on with the rumor mill. There's a lot going on trade-wise. And then, of course, we are going to start our year in review series. For those of you who haven't been with us over the years, we do a year in review weekly series after the season is completely done, where we take each Atlantic team, review what they did in the year, give it a grade, and then look ahead to what they should be doing in the offseason. So that will be with the Brooklyn Nets with these two, obviously. We'll get into that in a second. We'll start off with the news and rumors and trades and everything. We finally had a trade go down in the NBA. Woj reported earlier today that Memphis finalized a trade that sent Valanciunas and this year's number 17 and number 51 picks to New Orleans for Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe, picks number 10 and 40, and also a protected 2022 first round pick via the Lakers. So I'll ask you guys, Mike, we'll start with you on this one. What were your thoughts about the trade when you first saw it go down?
So I'm looking at it here. So Memphis sends Jonas 1751 for Adams, Bledsoe, 10-40 and a first. I mean, to me, Valanciunas and Steven Adams are kind of a wash. Like, they're very similar players. What are you looking at me like that for?
That already, you're so keep going.
What do you mean? They're similar. I mean, I'm not like whatever. However you fucking say his name.
Whatever you say, pal.
Shoots the ball one way and the other guy gives a banger inside, but they're both like similarly valued players.
I mean, I kind of see where you're going with that. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Don't even humor him.
It's a move up in the draft for who? For I can't even figure out which way this is going. Memphis, it looks like Memphis is moving up, right, from 17 to 10. Am I seeing that
Yes.
right? And picking up an extra first-round pick. They give up Valanciunas, which clears more playing time for Jaren Jackson, if that's what you want me to say, Dennis. There you go. And Eric Bledsoe gets to play on another team because he just gets traded all over the place.
I will also say real quick, there was also another report after that said Eric Bledsoe's unlikely to stay in Memphis.
Of course he is, because he never stays anywhere.
Right.
But, Dennis, okay, Valanciunas is better than Steven Adams. But it's not like one guy's a superstar and the other guy's DeAndre Jordan.
I mean, do we forget how well Valanciunas played when Morant was out during the season? Did we forget like what a double machine he is? Remember his days in Washington when everybody's like, this guy can't play defense, he sucks, he doesn't have quickness, which to some degrees is true, but we just forget like how good of a scorer and how good of a rebounder he is. And honestly, if it wasn't for him, Memphis wouldn't have been nearly as competitive to some degree, because when Morant was out, Valanciunas had some games where he was playing terrific. So when you come out and you say that they're the same kind of players, I mean, you're on crack.
I mean, at the end of the day, neither of them are. Yes, Valanciunas is better than Steven Adams. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Okay, and that's why they're getting an extra first-round pick and moving up 7 spots in the draft, which makes sense on the value. But neither of them, it's not like trading James Harden for LeVert, Jared Allen, 4 first-round picks kind of move. Okay? It's clearing cap space probably. I didn't look at the contract. It's a move up in the draft, and it's getting more first-round picks to build around John Morant. Jonas Valanciunas is not making New Orleans a title contender, and Steven Adams is not making Memphis a playoff team. Like the trade in the grand scheme of things, the trade doesn't like. It's just a movement of contracts and players, and like no team's franchise has changed by this trade, which is kind of what I was getting at.
You're saying it's not moving the needle.
Exactly. Yes, Valanciunas is better than Steven Adams, and that's why they got to move up and got an extra first-round pick. But it's not a franchise changing trade.
I mean, I'm looking at the stats. Valanciunas is almost a 60% field goal percentage. He's a great rebounder.
Lithuanians, like he likes running backs in fantasy football, so that's what the issue is.
Yes, because unlike you, I actually know what I'm doing in fantasy football.
So that's why you lost to me in the semifinals, right?
But Valanciunas this season, I'm looking at the stats, career high 8.4 rebounds. Blocks, almost a block a game. Points, 17.1 points per game, which is the second best of his career. And you're telling me that they're going to try to lean on Jaren Jackson, a guy who hasn't been healthy over the years. You're gonna who else they get? You're gonna throw Gorgie Dang in there, Xavier Tillman. I mean, I think they took a step back with this move when you consider that the Grizzlies were kind of on the cusp of being a better playoff team than they really are, and now you're moving Valanciunas to get Steven Adams back, who had foot injuries last season. Didn't really play a hell of a whole lot. Lost time to Willie Hernan Gomez in New Orleans, and they're getting Eric Bledsoe back with his huge contract, and he's not even going to be there. So to me, to move up, you want to move up. They're moving up, right?
Yeah.
They're moving from 17 to 10.
I mean, I don't even see what the value is in going up from 17 to 10, because you could still get good players at 17 unless they have their heart set on somebody. But I don't know. I just don't think that was I don't see that move helping them out by any means at all.
My only guess on why Memphis would do this trade is if they have someone lined up that they could package 10 and Bledsoe or 10 and something else to move up even higher. That's really the only thing in my head that I could see that Memphis would do to make this worthwhile. Because even the first rounder they got from the Lakers, it's protected. I don't know how much protection it has, but that's probably going to be very late first round, especially because it's next year. So that'll be when the Lakers retool and whoever they get in this offseason. So yeah, I mean, I've always been a Steven Adams fan, not because he's the greatest center ever, but more so because I lived in the same dorm as him. But he's definitely the only. Well, that's why I'm a fan. We lived in the same dorm. We were freshmen at the same time. Hail to Pitt.
All right, I'll give you that one.
But
I went to a Rutgers Pitt basketball game where Steven Adams couldn't even beat Rutgers.
Well, Steven Adams in college wasn't great. I will say that. But anyway,
I mean, just real quick, it's not. I don't hate Steven Adams. I just liked him better 4 years ago.
Right. No, I completely agree. And
And I
right now,
think
I think. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I said I think Valanciunas has gotten a bad rap his entire career. I hated when he was in Toronto and they kept blaming all this crap on him. He's not mobile. He's not good. Well, you're not the guy that I would like to see how many double doubles the guy's actually had, but I would it would be safe to assume that he is in the top 10 to 15 to 20 of double doubles in a season this year. So you're not going to get any better production than that. So I don't know, and I don't really trust Jaren Jackson. I don't trust Xavier Tillman or whoever I can't even remember who the hell else they had going out there. But Brandon Clark actually to me was better than Jaren Jackson was in some ways.
Oh, come on.
In some ways, I said. So like at least Brandon Clark. The wind blows on Jaren Jackson Jr. and he dislocates his knee. So,
No, it's true. If Jaren Jackson can get up to the potential that everyone expected him to be, then yeah, like that's great for Memphis. Memphis turns into a completely different team. But with the injury issues and now Steven Adams, who also had some injury issues, and the only thing I would say Steven Adams is better than Valanciunas is defense and being the anchor of a defense, as we've seen him be good at that before. That wasn't the only issue that Memphis had. Memphis has a lot of issues they needed to address. And bringing in Bledsoe, honestly, to me, I think is going to be hard to move his contract to somebody that could even use Bledsoe in a way that's even useful. So, I mean, the Pelicans definitely win this trade.
I haven't even figured out in what way Eric Bledsoe is useful to anybody.
Well, that too. He's useful in the point that every team he leaves gets better.
Right. I'm not going to say he sucks because obviously he's in the NBA for a reason, right? But that guy he got paid all this money, and whoever his agent is the best agent in the world, because that guy, I remember when he was in Milwaukee, he like some games he didn't even start, and then they move him to like the Pelicans and they don't even want him. I mean, Josh Hart is beating him for playing time in New Orleans, and who the hell's that other guy? I mean, I think Langston Galloway started over him at sometimes in New Orleans.
Probably. I mean, he got all that money based off of his time in Phoenix, and they didn't even make the playoffs.
He got all that money because he was a 5-star recruit that went to Kentucky. That's what it was.
Yeah, but he did play well in Phoenix when they had that 3-headed point guard system going. But again, they didn't even make the playoffs when he was there. And so, I mean, yeah, that's a great agent getting you all that money after that. But
genius.
Yeah, exactly. But let's move on from that. We've talked enough about Eric Bledsoe and Valanciunas and everything. We have a couple trade rumors going on. We'll start off with Bradley Beal. So there's a lot of teams rumored that they keep saying he'll request a trade in the coming time. That's what all the reports are saying, blah, blah, blah. And they say the Knicks, the Sixers, the Celtics, correct me if I'm missing any others, but I know the Celtics was one of the ones that are like the top of the list. Yeah, pretty much everybody. But Celtics were on the top of the list, especially because we've talked about this in another episode on Team USA, playing with Jason Tatum, being longtime friends with Tatum, all that kind of stuff.
Everybody's
do friends. Do you guys think he starts the season on the Wizards, or will he be traded come draft time, come the rest of the offseason, whatever it may be?
I think he gets traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Shigo. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know where I think he ends up. I feel like the Celtics aren't. I don't know. Well, without Danny Ainge now, they're more willing to give up. They're probably more willing to give up like some assets. I have just a sneaky suspicion he's going to end up in Atlanta with Trae Young and John Collins or Clint Capella. Maybe John Collins is the piece that. Well, John Collins I think is a restricted free agent this year.
They just made him a qualifying offer that they probably won't match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's my dark horse, or not really a dark horse because they're listed as one of the 4 teams here. But I think him and Trae Young, they're going to team up, and that's going to be the move. I don't know what they'll trade, first round picks and probably the Onyeka Ogankwu and Kevin Huerter. Like they're going to have to trade some sort of package, but I don't think he ends up on the Celtics. If I had to guess a team right now, I'd say he ends up in Atlanta. Even though it's a division rival, I guess, of Washington. Are they in the same division?
South. I think they're
Southeast.
in the Southeast. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
either way, I feel like Washington should know if they're trading Beal, that means they're not competing for the next probably 3 to 5 years.
They weren't competing for a while anyways.
Well, yeah, true.
Here's my thing, right? Like, how long has this thing been going on with Bradley Beal? Probably ad nauseum 2 years, maybe. That
Around there.
We've been hearing about Bradley Beal wanting a trade, So here's what I would do. I would pull him aside, and I'd have another conversation with him. I say, listen, don't even worry about requesting a trade. We're going to trade you. Don't worry about showing up anymore. We've had enough of you. Thank you for your service to our crappy team. And it's over. We love you. It's not you, it's us. We think
like Dennis has been through a few breakups in his life.
We think you're fantastic. It's just we got some growing we have to do personally. It's not working out. So they should just but then they should be like, but just do us a favor, don't tell anybody, because we want to get as much if other teams find out that you want to leave and that we told you we're willing to deal you, we're not going to get nearly as much back as we could get from you. So help us out. We're doing you a favor. Help us help you, and we'll get you to another team. And then once finally, I'd backstab them and send them to Oklahoma City or, some place out, New Orleans. I just send them there, some place there, just to, teach them a lesson. But then once he goes, his boy, Russell Westbrook, he's going too, and he's going somewhere. So the Lakers are looking for a point guard. All these other teams are looking for a point guard. So I think stuff's about to go down in Washington, and I think this if anybody's going to pull the trigger on a deal, this is the week to do it.
Dennis, do you have this speech tucked away? In case you and your wife get in a big argument or something, is this hidden in a folder somewhere? Because that sounds way too prepared, way too, thought out, and you've stood in front of a mirror and practiced that before.
He's played a lot of my GM on 2K, and he practiced the speech on 2K.
It's it was like my buddy. We used to play fantasy mode or whatever it's called, franchise mode in NBA 2K.
Yeah, that's cool, Mike. Thank you. Go ahead. I'm okay.
And every free agent or any signing he had to make, he had to sit there for 20 minutes, and it's almost like he had to interview the guy. So Dennis is cut from the same cloth, I guess. No, I agree with you, Dennis. I agree with you. But
I feel like
sometimes you can be smart.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sometimes you can be smart. No, they have to trade him. They're going to move. I don't even think I don't know if he'll make a big, obviously it'll get reported because everything gets reported. If an NBA player sneezes, it gets reported that he's in health and safety protocols. So it'll get, reported, but I think he'll be gone from Washington, and who knows what'll happen to Russell Westbrook. That guy is just like a tornado to any franchise he goes to. I think, like I said, maybe Atlanta, or maybe they ship him somewhere random,
Sacramento.
There you go, Sacramento, or Dallas or something.
Can we say simp on this show?
Yes.
Am I allowed to say simp?
Yep.
I feel like the Wizards are a simp. Like,
What's your favorite word?
well, it's because I call you that quite frequently, but
Because your team
I feel-
name in our fantasy league is Simpin' Ain't Easy.
but I feel like they're a simp, right? Like, no matter how much Bradley Beal just craps on them throughout the years, they're like, please just love us. We're sorry. We'll do anything. You know what I mean? Like, they're so desperate. It's disgusting.
And it's funny to me too that they're this way about Bradley Beal, but like John Wall at one point they're just kind of like, eh. Even though John Wall got hurt and everything, it was still just like you actually unloaded that terrible contract of John Wall. Why kick the can down the street with Bradley Beal? His contract is better and should be easier to trade than John Wall was.
Well, who is that idiot that they had running things? I don't remember. Moron, but he's responsible for half this. Well, mostly all this crap. I can't think of his name right now, but yeah, like the Wizards got like enough already. Like let's move on, like and start rebuilding our franchise here, and let's get our act together.
Yep. No, I agree, and I think Bradley Beal, honestly, I think will land on either the Celtics or Atlanta. I do like that dark horse team in Atlanta, but I just ultimately think Brad Stevens in his first year as GM and everything is going to want to put together some kind of deal to bring in another superstar. And I think Bradley Beal is going to be it. I don't know what the hell they're going to package. A lot of people have been saying Jaylen Brown, but if you package Jaylen Brown to get Bradley Beal, I don't think that moves the needle enough on that team to make them that much better, because Jaylen Brown has been a great player for them. And this year, before he got hurt, was an outstanding player. It was his best season yet.
Yeah, but we're talking about a guy who averaged 31 points a game, Bradley Beal. You're not going to get that from Evan Fournier. You're not going to get that from Marcus Smart. You're not going to get that from Jaylen Brown.
I don't know. Evan Fournier just torched USA, so I mean his stock is rising.
True, and I mean, but the other thing is too, like Jaylen Brown was way much better on the defensive side of things than Bradley Beal is.
Isn't that like the cop out that people say, like when they suck offensively? Oh, he can play defense.
I mean, that is a cop out. But at the same time, Jaylen Brown still put up 25, 26 points a game this past season.
He did?
He was up there.
Can we get the stats?
Can Mike fact check me?
Jaylen Brown averaged
18
25,
points.
6, and 3.
25 points.
24.7. I was rounding.
So yeah, he still gave you a lot of offense, but he was also
better
at defense.
Did he play?
And he shot 48 from the field, 39, almost 40 from 3, and 76 from the free throw line.
But how many games did he play? He was hurt for a while.
58 games.
All right, so he only played 58 games.
Well, he played 57 the year before, so it's an improvement.
True. But yeah, I mean,
COVID short in that season.
But all in all, I'm just saying, like, while Bradley Beal, yes, will give you a boost to that offense, especially just having Tatum and Beal on the same team. I don't think shipping off Jaylen Brown and getting Bradley Beal in return is automatically makes them a top 4 seed in the East. I think there's still a lot of teams that are better than them right now, even if they make that deal. It depends what else they can make along with it. That matters more to me is in really what moves the needle for the Celtics. But I also want to say, since you brought up they are moving Westbrook too, I think my dark horse after all those trades is that Westbrook goes to the Knicks. I just could see the Knicks making some sort of deal like that they bring in Westbrook of all people just to bring some excitement.
I mean, isn't the Knicks involved in every rumor?
I mean, pretty much, but I don't think
I was rumored to play for the Knicks.
I heard you were rumored to be on Dolan's band too.
I'm a better singer than he is. Why don't Beal, Westbrook, Tatum go fill up a banana boat somewhere and go for a ride and talk about what team they're going to play on? See, I don't even want to lump.
I just think you're jealous that you won't go on a banana boat.
If I was on one with you, you wouldn't make it back. I can tell you that right now.
You went on one, it would pop.
No, but honestly, shut up. By the way, honestly, if
he lost his train of thought.
All right, let's move on to the next rumor then. So we have more reports. This one coming from Shams about Kyle Lowry. So apparently the Sixers, Lakers, Mavericks, Pelicans, and Heat are all expected to be the top suitors for Kyle Lowry. The Sixers one.
Well, he's really going out on a limb on that one.
I know, right?
He named like half the teams in the league.
Every team that needs a point guard is a suitor for Kyle Lowry.
Right, I got the inside scoop. I heard the Suns are in the market for him if Chris Paul doesn't re-sign. Hot take right here.
I mean, makes sense to me. I heard even the Knicks are also looking at him.
Wow. Surprising.
Sources tell me. Tell me.
Wow.
But the Sixers obviously aren't a surprise. They were also rumored to be one of the teams that offered a trade for him at the deadline. None of that went through, obviously. Lakers, another one. Not very surprising. They've been looking for a point guard. They especially want a veteran point guard to go with LeBron James. The Mavericks, I think he would go pretty well with Luka Doncic, especially because he's not a guy that needs the ball all the time. Pelicans, another one that needs a point guard, and they just need another veteran leader that could actually help out in terms of staying on the court, because Dragic has not been one to stay on the court either, because we talk about that a lot here about health. So I mean, which team do you guys think makes them more of a favorite if they add Kyle Lowry?
I don't know. I
might just say the Knicks.
The Knicks are not a Kyle Lowry team away from winning it all. What were the other teams again? You said Lakers, Heat, Knicks.
Lakers, Heat, Pelicans, Mavericks, Sixers.
Mavericks, no. Sixers, well, any upgrade from Ben Simmons is fine. Heat, Dragic, Pelicans would probably be the biggest upgrade, but what are you giving up?
I mean, well, it depends. They could technically just sign him in free agency.
So then you get Pelicans with Ingram.
He doesn't want to go to New Orleans.
You get Pelicans with Ingram and Zion and
now Valanciunas.
Valanciunas. I mean, that's a team there. Okay, now that's a team. You get Valanciunas. It's a franchise-changing team or a trade.
Lowry and Valanciunas have their chemistry going.
We the North going down south. I mean, you got it going, and maybe they add a little Buddy Hield. No, I don't know what they add, but
DeRozan is also looking for a new team. So
hey, look at that. Maybe the Russell Westbrook goes to New Orleans. You never know.
Oh,
he already played there. He already played in New Orleans never mind. New Orleans went to Oklahoma City after Katrina, not the other way around.
Yeah, that was Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's like saying I never played for the Browns. I just played for the Ravens.
Exactly. But I mean, all in all, I think the only team that automatically gets their odds shot to the top 3 if they add a Kyle Lowry is the Lakers. I think that's the only team.
Yeah, but like we talked about, I think the only way that they can get the Lakers have about 3 cents to their name to make moves. I mean, when you lock up all these guys to the expensive contracts, this is what happens. So, I mean, if you did like a sign and trade with Schroeder, not that anybody would want him for some reason, but the thing, you heard those reports about DeRozan and Lowry looking to hook up in Los Angeles, blah blah blah. The thing is, there's a big difference between those two, and
True.
it's a championship. Lowry has a championship. He doesn't need another one. It's nice if he had another one, but he's made it pretty clear that he wants to get paid. And I don't think the guy cares where he's going to go. I think DeRozan has a better chance of taking a pay cut or whatnot to get into Los Angeles. And I'll tell you something, if DeRozan made it to Los Angeles, that would be a game changer right there to some degree. He's not as good as he used to be, but he's still a fantastic player.
No, I agree.
You really need to worry about getting paid. He already has earned $157 million in his career.
Yeah, but if you want to get another $90 million like he wants, I mean, I know you flunked out in 6th grade, but I mean, what's better, 290 million?
Hold on, time out. I flunked out in 6th grade, but this is the one who just finished up college. Your arguments, your insults make no sense. Insults make no sense.
Speaking of education,
Dennis,
Kyle Lowry is technically Dr. Lowry now.
And what?
I forget exactly. He was offered by a college in Canada.
They gave it to him?
Like an honorary doctor.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
But all right, so either way though, like you guys are saying, so it's reported that Kyle Lowry does want a 3-year, $90 million contract. He wants a 3-year 90. And DeRozan went on a podcast and said that he is willing to take a pay cut. So they both have gone opposite ways at this point. And like you said, Lowry already has a ring. Honestly, I think it's not out of the realm that if he can also get the money, that Lowry would love to come back to his hometown Philly and win something. Like, I think that would be his biggest drive to win a ring if it was for his hometown. But right now, yeah, it does sound like he just wants money. He wants to compete, but money comes first.
So you think going to the Sixers is the best chance of getting a ring?
No. I'm not saying best chance to get a ring. I'm saying the
Joel Street Clothes MB.
Or Ben
Simmons not even answering the phone right now. I mean, that's a championship caliber organization right there.
I just mean the one thing that will make him want to compete for a ring compared to wanting only the money.
He wants money. He doesn't care.
Dennis has spoken privately with Kyle Lowry.
I have. We're friends.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But go ahead.
No, for some reason I just want to start yelling about Ben Simmons again. I don't know what the problem. I just want to start as soon as I heard his name, I want to start yelling about him.
Oh, it's a trigger word for him.
It is.
Trust me. I mean, I understand because living in the Philly area, literally all you hear 24/7 is something about Ben Simmons.
I mean, what is Kyle Lowry gonna do that Ben Simmons can't? Sure, he's an upgrade. He's a better scorer. But what the hell is Kyle Lowry going to do? You're going to have a guy. How many games did Kyle Lowry play? Didn't he like break his hand or some stuff last year? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean,
I don't want to push it on the words, but he broke his hand or something last year. So like, and now we're gonna upgrade from Ben Simmons to go to Kyle Lowry. I'm gonna freaking break.
I mean, the main things obviously yes, scorer, and the other thing is being a leader because the Sixers don't have a leader. You can say like people say it's Joel Embiid, people say it's Ben Simmons, people say it's Doc Rivers, blah 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 blah. But the main
Those are the
fact
three
is
crappiest leaders you can name.
exactly that's what I'm saying. They don't actually have a leader. When Jimmy Butler was at Philly, he was the leader. Other than that, ever since this era started with Embiid and Simmons, there has not been a leader. So that's the main thing that they would want for Kyle Lowry to come in and do.
Doc just needs to bring his whole family, and he's got his son-in-law there already. He's got to bring his boy back, Austin Rivers. Got to get Stephen Curry. Like,
I mean, bring Steph. That's fine with me.
well, yeah, it'd be fine with me too. But
All right, but
if Ben Simmons is by chance listening to the show, so to any of the three people who are listening, if you know Ben Simmons, tell him not to answer that phone call from them. They suck. He doesn't. They don't deserve him.
Can I hit like the mute button like Tony Reale and pardon the interruption?
Oh God, freeze him or whatever it was too.
When
But
you
all
hit
right.
10 seconds.
So let's move on to the
Sucks.
main section of the episode. So, year in review for the Brooklyn Nets. So, obviously, they finished the regular season as the 2 seed in the East. They finished 48-24. We watched in the Eastern semifinals that they lost to Milwaukee, the eventual NBA
Barely.
champs. We barely, true, by a toe. They had Kyrie Irving hurt at the end of the season. James Harden was on one leg at the end of the season. A lot of just bad luck injuries and everything that went on, and obviously some pieces that need to be upgraded. And obviously during the season was when they made the big deal for James Harden too. We can't forget that. It feels like it was the beginning of the season that happened, but that happened halfway through. So all in all, not reaching expectations, but not a terrible season for the Nets. But I'd like to know what you guys think about the events that unfolded, the grade you would give the Nets for this season, and then what you think they should be doing this offseason.
Well, they failed their goal of winning a championship, so their grade is a D. But
Okay.
they put a good roster together that has a chance to run it back next year with 3 superstar players, KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. They were able to get some guys to come like Blake Griffin for cheap, and they're gonna have some more ring chasers coming this year. They're starting to develop Nick Claxton. Joe Harris had a bad series, but he did his role for the most part of the season. They found a few pieces here and there that can contribute. I think they're moving forward. They have a chance to be one of the best teams in the league again, like they were this year. Dennis gonna shake his head because whatever reason he just has to disagree with everything I say. But I think
I just hate you.
What?
I just hate you.
Oh, okay. Well, I think the issue that they have is DeAndre Jordan and his contract. He's taking up $10 million in salary and not playing. But what are they got to do in the offseason? They got to go get a big that can defend the rim, that can shoot and space the floor, and one that doesn't cost too much money. It's going to be hard to find. They do have 3 or 4 picks in this draft, so maybe they could be creative and move around or trade some picks for players. Who knows? There's no real who are we going to sign this offseason? The only question mark we have is Spencer Dinwiddie. Are we going to re-sign him and pay him $25 million a year? Are we going to use a sign and trade? Maybe that's the way we get a stretch big that can play defense. It's hard to tell right now. Somebody asked me the other day, gun to your head, is Spencer Dinwiddie a net next year? And I said yes, because I don't know what big we would trade him for. Ideally the best big for the Nets is Miles Turner. but I don't know how that would work. I don't know if they could do that in a sign and trade. I don't know if there's some salary cap maneuvering that they can do. I don't even think there's a way we can get him, unless obviously we like got rid of Kyrie or something. So that's not going to happen. But let's try to find the cheap version of Miles Turner. And right now, I don't know who that would be. I've said Frank Kaminsky, but he's nowhere near Miles Turner. I don't know. Maybe there's some kid playing in like Bulgaria or on the Slovenian national team that Sean Marks finds watching the Olympics, and Victor Klankar or whatever his name is. Maybe we find someone. I don't know, but I think the number one agenda on the Nets offseason is figure out what to do with Dinwiddie and see what veterans they could possibly target as buyout candidates and ring chasers like Kevin Love, or I'm sure there's going to be others. That's just the one that comes to mind first. Dennis shook his head for the whole minute and a half that I was talking, so I'm sure he's already planning Kyrie's retirement party.
I will just say I've seen a couple of pro-am highlights of Reggie Perry going to work.
Oh, Reggie Perry. What was he playing up against, LiAngelo Ball?
I mean, I definitely didn't recognize anyone else in the video other than Reggie Perry, so I can't say that it was great competition.
So the Nets they're going to probably take some guy like named Miroslavovich, and he's going to play. He's not going to play. So the draft's not going to help him at all. The biggest thing that they need to do is they need to sign Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie is the hope of the Brooklyn Nets. That's it.
I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie as a sixth man is amazing.
Spencer Dinwiddie as anything is amazing. Spencer Dinwiddie is the key to the Brooklyn Nets, because if he doesn't play, if he's not in Brooklyn, I'm very nervous. I mean, I'm looking at Kyrie the last couple seasons, 54 games last season, 20 games the year before, 67, 60, 72, 53. This guy cannot stay healthy. He can't play a whole season. He's crazy. He's out of his...
Stop crying.
He's got mental issues, and I'm not knocking anybody with mental issues, but somebody in Brooklyn needs to like take this guy to a psychiatrist and figure out what the hell's going on with him, because he is absolutely crazy. His mind is gone. When you're walking around with blessing with the ghosts, getting rid of ghosts on the court, you got a mental problem.
I mean, I can't argue that.
I mean, that's a little weird, man. Like and then you watch this video that just popped up recently. You're talking about he was reincarnated and all this stuff. I mean, he's just weird, man. Like, it's not that I don't agree with any of that. If that's what people want to believe, it's fine. It's just I'm targeting him is because I'm sick of his bull crap all the years. He can't stay healthy. He's more focused on everything that's off the court. I don't feel like his heart is in it. Imagine if this guy's heart was actually in it. He'd be an MVP, and he's not. He's just naturally talented. And if we're going to keep him, that's great. I mean, keep Kyrie Irving, that's fine. But then you need Spencer Dinwiddie, because this guy's going to go down at some point. Either he's going to have a nervous breakdown, he's going to end up down at what the hell is that psychiatric hospital in New York City? That one. He's going there, whatever the hell the name of that is. He's going there, and they're going to need a point guard. And Spencer Dinwiddie is the perfect man for it. Kevin Love, it's inevitable when his calf grows back. He's gonna sign with the Nets. They got to get rid of DeAndre Jordan. They got to upgrade somewhere. Joe Harris, something's got to be done with him. I don't say trade him yet. I like Joe Harris. He's a great dude. Everybody loves him. He's like the Brooklyn Net of all Nets. So you got to keep him. And then Harden and Durant, like you got to like take it easy on them throughout the year. So you're going to have to do a lot of load management with those guys to keep them healthy. Blake Griffin's going to come back. There's no doubt about it. He's going to come back to Brooklyn. So they still have plenty of talent, but it's really all going to come down to Spencer Dinwiddie.
So what I know Mike said a D. So what grade would you give them this past season?
For a team that didn't have like an actual training camp and was just kind of thrown together in a COVID season, and they had a lot of injuries and COVID issues and stuff like that, I would give them a B plus.
Okay.
I'd give Kyrie an F, but I'd give them the rest of them a B plus.
For some reason, I figured that one was coming.
He's an idiot. I can't take it anymore.
Well, yeah, you too, Mike.
No, not you, honey.
But no, I tend to agree with most of what you guys are saying. If I had to give a grade, I'd probably give like a C plus, just because they still played well. Kevin Durant, I think, in and of it's like himself deserves an A, just coming back from all the injuries and everything he's come back from, and how good he did look, even though he still missed some time in there for some more injury management.
I think it's Bellevue. Bellevue's the hospital.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, the lack of depth definitely showed as time went on with injuries and load management and all that kind of stuff, especially come playoff time when you face teams like the Bucks and other top teams. But it also wasn't bad for a team that all of a sudden threw together three superstars that, I mean, yes, Durant and Harden played together before, but that was way back. And Kyrie hasn't played with those two really much at all. So it was nice to see the three of them gel as the year went on, the kind of offense that they can put together that we have seen them do, and the potential that we can see them hit. I just didn't think that they hit their full potential just yet, especially not consistently. But I agree with you guys.
Kyrie got a paper cut, so they couldn't,
Once the paper cut hits, the potential gets cut. That's how it goes.
He stubbed his toe. He's done for the year.
But I agree that in terms of the center play, that's definitely going to have to be upgraded. I do like Claxton. I think he will get better, but either way, I still think you need to add another one besides just him. You definitely can't have DeAndre Jordan there. He was just kind of a guy that, yeah, you can play him in the regular season when guys are taking breaks or with load management, whatever. You can play him then. But when it comes to anything meaningful, you're not going to want to play DeAndre Jordan. So that's definitely one of the biggest priorities. And as you guys said, Spencer Dinwiddie's the one that's hanging above all of it. That is if you had Dinwiddie this whole season, the whole season could be different. If you had him, especially in just the playoffs, that whole series against Milwaukee could have been different. So I do think he's like priority one, center's priority two, and then filling everything in with ring chasers and other like mid-level to low-level guys is then the third priority when you clean everything up. But I do think go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said they could, as long as they signed Spencer Dinwiddie, they could put us on the floor. Doesn't matter at that point.
I mean, yeah, if you're rolling out there just the lineup of Dinwiddie, Kyrie, KD, Harden, and Claxton, at that point you're putting up like 160 points a game.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So the only thing is, I just have a gut feeling that Dinwiddie does not stay on the Nets. I don't have any kind of like exact reasoning why. It's just a gut feeling to me that it just feels as though they're going to try and work some sort of sign and trade.
I agree. I don't know what I really can't sit here and say like I don't know what the package will be, but like I know I said earlier, gun to my head, is he a net? Yeah, I said that, but like I don't know what they can trade him for. Like I just don't know how the salary cap works enough, or how like that teams are going to value him coming up an ACL injury. Like I think he's worth more to the Nets than he is any other team. So it's not like I think the Nets can go out and trade Spencer Dinwiddie to, Memphis for Jonas Valanciunas. I'm just giving you a random, an example. Could they trade him to Toronto for Chris Boucher? Like, is that the right value? Like, could they trade him to Portland for Zach Collins? Oh, I think he's a free agent, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know what they can get for him. I really don't know what's possible.
Right. No, yeah.
He says he wants to go to the Lakers. So, I mean, there's the Dennis Schroeder. Here we come.
I don't want Blondo.
Did he specifically say the Lakers or LA?
No, I think I saw something when he said LA.
Okay, because I was just saying, if it's Clippers,
And what
Reggie
the hell the Clippers
Jackson?
going to give him?
I mean, Reggie Jackson maybe.
I would love Reggie Jackson. I just not over Spencer Dinwiddie. Come on.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're forced to trade him, I'd rather Reggie Jackson than Chris Boucher.
Yeah, but he's going to give up a ton of money if he decides to walk. He's giving up a ton of money that he could potentially make in Brooklyn. So it's in his best interest to sign. Especially, there's a good chance he could be a starter at some point during the year. And I know I crap on Kyrie and everything like that. Kyrie is a fantastic player. He could be an MVP caliber player. He has been an MVP caliber player when he's healthy, but there's pretty much a 50% chance that he's not going to stay healthy. And I know, like I said, I know I crap on him because he can't stay healthy, and I'm sure it's not easy to deal with the NBA grind and play all those games and stuff. So they need to keep Spencer Dinwiddie at all costs. Buy him a car, a house, whatever the hell they got to do to keep him there. Because just think about it, the Bucks barely beat the Nets. The Bucks were at full strength. They got slaughtered by the Nets the first two games, and the Nets didn't even have Harden. And then when Harden did come back, he was on one leg. Kyrie was gone, and Kevin Durant was doing everything. So Joe Harris didn't play well. He missed every shot he took, it looked like. So if Kevin Durant they can't even beat, they barely beat Kevin Durant by himself. If they had Spencer Dinwiddie playing there, I think the Nets would be NBA champs right now.
I mean, I definitely agree with that sentiment. I think they would be too, because that, especially I don't think the Hawks even beat Brooklyn maybe more than once if they had that team on the floor against Atlanta in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then when it comes to Phoenix, I'd still give Phoenix one or two games, but I do think Brooklyn would end up beating them if they still had that healthy team.
Yeah, the Hawks are just a pain in the ass, though. They're that consummate, just a pain in the ass. These guys, they're just so difficult. You know what I mean? They're just a good team.
Well, especially with the Hawks, they're one of those teams that if their shooting is on that night, you literally just hope that your shooters are on, because they just pour in points the moment any of their shooters are on. But yeah, I agree. They're the most annoying team to face, but they're not the championship level team just yet.
They almost were there.
True. No, that's very true. But unless you guys have any closing comments on the Nets season or their off season, I think that's it for us.
Yeah. It'll be an interesting summer. Dennis will be annoyed until, the Nets find a way to get Ben Simmons and trade Kyrie Irving. But,
do it.
I'll leave you guys with this question. If you had to guess whether trades and everything's are going to happen, who is your opening night starting five for Brooklyn?
Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, Nicholas Claxton.
Same for you, Dennis?
I will say Harden, Irving, Joe Harris, Kevin Durant, either Kevin Love or Blake Griffin.
Okay. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say Kyrie, Harden, KD. Those three I think are pretty solid in cement there. But I think they get. There's a lot of trades I've been swirling in my head that the Nets might or might not do. I'm gonna say Buddy Hield and Nicholas Claxton. I'm not saying obviously in position order, but
I would take Buddy Hield if the Sixers were gonna, or not the Sixers, if the Kings were gonna trade Buddy Hield, I would feel a little bit better about that, because that's another guy who plays well and just doesn't get the respect he deserves. He's had some really good seasons in that crappy team, and I like Sacramento. I feel bad for the fans of Sacramento, because I like Sacramento.
I like a lot of the players on that team, but they just never work out on the same unit.
No, but they got a lot of good quality players on there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But that is it for us. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching another episode of the Atlantic Files, the #1 podcast on the #1 division in the NBA. Make sure you guys leave a comment, review, rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere you get your podcasts. Also, drop us some comments and some likes on YouTube as well. Everywhere you can find us at either The Atlantic Files or Atlantic Files. So make sure you check us out. Tell a friend. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.